And I'm back. So how can we, based on the business model, align our systems so that everything works in harmony with the business model that our organization has chosen? Well, this is what a systems alignment looks like with a business model, where the financial aspect will always cover and be handling these different aspects that we have reviewed previously. The internal process is what is basically going to be changing based on the type of market discipline that we choose. So if we choose operational excellence or product leadership or customer intimacy, we will be seeing how we will be changing, and taking a look at our customers so that we can achieve maximum satisfaction, and we can achieve, for example, retainment of our customers that may be important based on the business model that we have or not. We can gain market share. We can have a correct positioning in the minds of our customers. And of course, we will also be taking a look at investment strategies if we choose to invest and grow in that way. So for example, we can grow in different ways. We can grow by, for example, accessing an adjacent market. What does that mean? Well, if, for example, we have chosen a market segment of millennials between the ages of 25 and 30, perhaps an adjacent market for us can be targeting millennials between the age of 20 to 25. Or it can be an adjacent market of targeting millennials between the age of 25 and 30 in another country. Or we can have a different kind of investment strategy via the opening of a new business. Perhaps we can, under the same umbrella brand, open up a new business that will be selling the same kind of product, but under a different business name with a different kind of pricing, positioning, etc. And then, of course, we will have to, within the organization, include an aspect that has to do with learning and growth. What does this mean? Well, this is where us as HR come in, because we will hear, based on the different kinds of internal process or the different market discipline that our organization may have, we will have to develop different kinds of competencies in our workforce. For example, we will have to include different kinds of information systems. And this doesn't just have to do with, for example, if the IT department is going to use Salesforce as the intranet for selling, or CRM tasks and tools. For example, it also has to do with different kinds of information systems that we are going to use as HRM in order to track the work that our employees are doing. Like, for example, something as trivial, which is not trivial at all, but for something as important as having an access card that we have to swipe every time we leave the office, for example. And of course, we also will have to talk and discuss motivating our employees, empowering our employees, and aligning them with our organization's goals. Now, with systems alignments, we have to think, what comes first, the strategies or the KPI? KPI, if you guys are not familiar with this term, are key performance indicators. They are basically metrics that we use in order for an organization to see if we are reaching our goals. And of course, KPIs are not just sales. It's very easy for us to say, well, we want to achieve 30,000 euros in sales. But there are many KPIs along the way that we can use to measure and understand if we are doing our work correctly, which will allow us to reach that end goal of reaching 30,000 euros in sales. So basically, what do we need to understand? Well, we need to be able to know our priorities as an organization, and we need to be able to be aware of all of the strategy options that are available. So, for example, what are we going to be doing? Well, if our strategy is to create something unique and innovative and disruptive, then we will have to create KPIs in accordance with our strategies. And for example, we may have to be able to conduct or audit a business in order to turn it around and, for example, change the strategies that we had first envisioned or that we had first decided, which we see as we are tracking the KPIs, we see that are not working well. Then, of course, we have to also be able to understand the different possible strategies that we can use. And this is something that that can be discussed more in strategic business, of course. But here I'm just giving you guys a very brief summary. We have to be able to look at the possible different strategies that we can use in order for the business to grow or to turn it around. Then, of course, based on the priorities that we have decided upon, like I said, we will be able to decide the KPIs so that we can see and measure a little bit at a time how we are going to reach that end goal. And of course, we also have to decide if we are going to be growing through a normal business, and a normal business has to do with that the sales are growing in the normal way. There's nothing strange going on that is expected in the forecast, and that it's not something that we are needing to turn around. So, for example, let's look at the example of Dell. So, Dell, for example, wants to be also one of the best, end-to-end solutions. So they have a customer intimacy market discipline, and they instilled the minutes per resolution of a problem. So their core goal became that in one phone call, the problem could be resolved. And so this helped to reduce the probability of call transfers from 45% to 18%. So their KPIs, in order for them to be able to achieve this goal, their KPIs were built in accordance with being able to measure and track that calls are being constantly reduced, and what kind of metrics could be used in order to see that we are going to be able to reach this in the long term as the long-term goal. So some sample KPIs for each market discipline. Well, let's look at customer intimacy, since we were just looking at Dell, and this is what they were using. So the first thing we need to see is, for example, customer knowledge. How familiar are our customers with our product, with our company, and the way that we do business? Then another KPI is taking a look and determining the different solutions that are being offered to the client. The penetration into the specific target market that we have chosen. Customer data, here big data comes into play. What data do we have available from the day-to-day operations of our business with our customers, and what can we retrieve from there and analyze in order for us to further improve? And of course, a customer success focus, the specific KPIs that would allow us to see how for example, 10 calls, we were able to successfully resolve 9 calls in one phone call. Then operational excellence. Well, since this is a company that is a low-cost producer, KPIs such as the price that we have, the different selection, the different kinds of family of products that we have, how convenient are our sales channels or the products, how many products of ours have some defects or have to be recalled, and what is the growth rate of our organization. And with product leadership, specific KPIs within marketing will be important. Like, for example, what is the brand positioning? What is the top of mind in our core target group? What is the functionality of our product? What is the number of successes that we have had, the number of failures? As I mentioned before, companies in product leadership disciplines have numerous failures because, of course, they're constantly innovating, and thus not all products are going to be a success. Then what kind of lessons are we learning from our key users? What our interdisciplinary teams, what can they provide as insights and information? And of course, through the pipeline, what can we learn? So let's take a look at different strategies and systems based on the different kinds of market discipline. So for operational excellence, low-cost producers, mass distribution, mass production, we need to be able to move the know-how from the top performing units, not the top management, but the top performing units, that may be marketing, that may be manufacturing, et cetera, to other units so that we can all achieve success. We are going to create a benchmark against the best in class. As you guys know, a benchmark is obtaining the leader, analyzing the leader, and being able to create that as a measuring scale so that everything else can be measured in comparison to this best in class as I specified here. We have to ensure that in HRM, there is operations training for all employees within the workforce. And then, of course, we have to use different disciplines in order for us to be continuously learning so that we can reduce costs in the organization and improve the quality. Within product leadership, of course, we need to, one of the characteristics of product leadership companies, innovative, cutting edge companies, is that there is a very fast concept to market, to counter. So we have to, of course, be able to reduce the time that we need from the moment that we conceptualize the idea to the moment that the product is available in our markets. We have to be able to commercialize new products fast. We have to ensure that the flow of ideas is very quick and is multi-hierarchical. It's not just limited to, for example, the people that are in the top levels of management. We also have to be able to reuse, recycle, or adapt the skills or lessons that other parts of our companies have learned and adapt it to our specific department or task at hand. And of course, we have to, in terms of finances, ensure that there are multiple sources of funding. And customer intimacy, the total best end-to-end solution. The first thing we need to do is, of course, learn about our customers, understand what they want, empower the frontline employees. These are all of those employees that are face-to-face with our customers. Ensure that everybody knows the customer, whether it's the person that's in the manufacturing plant or whether it's the person that's the executive assistant to the CEO. Everybody has to understand the type of customer that we are targeting and the purpose of our service, and of course, make this company knowledge available to the customers so that they feel aligned and become loyal to you. So what about the business situation versus HRM? Now we're coming back to the strategic human resource management. So there can be a business situation in which we are growing, in which there is no growth, we are flat, or which we are declining or downturn. So of course, for companies that are in upturn or flat, we can see that there are different strategies. With upturn, when we are managing our workforce, the most important thing that we need to do is ensure that we retain the best talent so that we can be able to keep up the momentum, keep growing, and that we can be adapting as the company moves. Sorry, there's a beautiful little hummingbird right outside my window. When the organization is flat, there's no growth, there's no decline, but we are in a very stable, flat line. Well, of course, here it's important for us to be able to change a little bit. We have to innovate. We have to try to build momentum. In terms of HRM, again, here we have to be, working on talent management, ensuring that the people that are in each job position are the ones best suited for that specific job position, ensuring that there are no people that are not being fully realized. And of course, ensuring that we can slow down HR costs or minimize HR costs, given that there is no growth within our organization. And of course, if we are decreasing, I've got more information for you here. For HRM, well, the first thing we need to do is, of course, work on focusing on our top talent and ensuring that we are retaining them. We have to also ensure that we can properly motivate and increase employee morale. And of course, there's lots of different things that we can do in order for us to be able to help our workforce become more productive or become more motivated, even if the company is in a decline. And this can be done by, for example, creating new projects, or, for example, creating communications in which we can be sharing the information about our organization and, of course, getting people aligned with our business goals. We can, for example, ensure that middle management is in the right position, ensure that all of the managers that are working in top management or middle management are also aligned with our organization's goals, and ensuring that people can turn this situation around. We also, of course, have to create realistic goals for each of our employees to ensure that they are realistic with the situation that we have in this moment in time. And we have to ensure that we set realistic and controllable KPIs, such as customer satisfaction, level of production, etc. So this brings me to the end of the second part of our class. I will be right back with the third.